Hi, I don't know if you can see me yet. Wait, technically you should be able to see me technically. Let's make sure because I like seeing myself. So we're going to give it the first like couple seconds. It's going to be hey. We said we were doing this, so here we are. It's probably going to be shorter than before because right now what we're doing is different. Hey Letty, we're going to start talking about what this channel is going to be. This channel, and let's see, where is it? Zen subscriptions here. Okay, yes, we're live and everything. Okay, so since everything is working as it should, let me start. We're going to do this the easy way. Hey Alexis, Seren, Elise, Pink, hi everyone. Thank you very much for the likes. Thank you very much for sharing. Thank you very much for all these things that you're doing. Now we're going to start talking about what's this channel going to be, what I'm doing, why I'm doing all this. And I started it, everything started long ago. Long ago in the Empire of Aku. Hey, from Poland. Norma, nice to see you. Well, I'm here talking about, thank you very much for the likes. I'm talking about the plans of the page. Why did I start writing? Oh, Justine. I was like, Normal is good, but Justine is much better. PB&J, nice to see you. Nice to see you. That makes me so happy. So, I'm trying to talk a little bit. Well, I'm talking about the what I'm doing in the page. I used to think that I was writing romance, but in reality, I'm not writing romance. I've realized that I'm writing psychological fantasy. But romance, there's a huge. No, I did not yet. Can you believe that I changed everything again, and I'm rewriting the story? My my issue, my always issue. I know. Look, since today is the last day, if I don't turn it in today, I'm done. So at least I have one provisional that I can upload, but I have one that sounds much better. So that's the one I'm going to finish as soon as we're done here. I'll upload that one. Yes, exactly. I'm still writing and improving my style, or at least like smoothing it out. I'm a writer. I'm a writer. At least I'm writing. I'm also a writer because my background is in analysis, clinical diagnosis, and microbiology. And yes, do you want to read it? Okay, send me your email on DM. DM me your email, and I'll share it with you as soon as I'm done. Oh my goodness, that would be so awesome! And thank you very much for the likes, and thank you very much for sharing. Enigma, hi. So as I was saying, my background is in science. I've done analysis, clinical diagnosis, and microbiology. Oh, see you later. Enjoy work. Hey, Enigma. So I did analysis, clinical diagnosis, and microbiology in Spain, and then I came to the States to study nursing, but I ended up doing public health because it was my thing. It had a lot of creative writings, public speaking. It was more creative work than nursing. Nursing is very numbers, and you have to do this specifically like this. But public health has this component of this free component that allows it to just be something more artistic, and it has some room for trying new things, and that's exactly what I needed. So now that I'm writing, I find myself applying the same principles that I used in academia, because I used to do research and writing papers for my classmates to review, and all my papers had that creative writing nature to them. And everyone was like, why don't you just write, why don't you write a book? And I'm like, I'm working on it. But the book I was writing, was a self-help book based on everything that I've learned coming to the States. And at some point I abandoned it because I didn't know how to write properly. I didn't know how to write in English. And changing languages from English to Spanish, Spanish to English, made it very hard to keep my mind focused. So it was hard to find time and the way to actually do this. So now that I feel that I'm versed enough in English, I can do it. So I wanted to prepare this video to have how do you call this, a about me. So you can come to my video and be like, oh, okay, this is what this guy does. This is where he comes from. This is what he used to do. So I have some questions prepared here for you, for me, and I'll answer them like if you're the one asking me. So what inspired you? What inspired my transition from my background in clinical analysis into being mental health and educator? My past in mental health. Oh, I am a sociologist interested in psychology and health in general. Look at that. That's awesome that you got here. Let me make sure that I'm following you. Let me make sure. Okay, now I'm following you. I'm starting to write short stories. So I'll have the link on my link tree and you'll be able to check them out. I'm always working on something. So I'm working on a story every month that it will be done in different formats as we advance, but every week we'll bring a new story. And every month we'll bring a new story. And this month we're bringing one about vulnerability, how vulnerability breaks the cycle of shame. And it's about a vampire, it's about a succubus that is in love with a werewolf. And to be able to be together, he has to overcome the shame of being a vampire, of being a succubus. That in a great scheme of things, but it's for a writing competition. So it might be possible that you won't be able to see it until the competition is done. But in December we'll write something different. We'll write again something together. So I would love to have you around if you'd like it. It'd be awesome from me. And I don't think that I've never transitioned from writing from my past to now. I've always written since I discovered that I didn't need to be as handsome to get women if I was a good writer. That's what changed it for me. I would write and they'll be like, wow, I like it. We should hang out sometime. And that was my way of entry. And I discovered that I like it. My communication improved. The way I expressed myself was better. So it was really good to start writing. And then I discovered that when I write things for academia in a more improvised way, it also becomes really fun to enjoy what I'm writing, even though it's not exactly as it should. So I always got mixed reviews. So an academic standpoint, it was or bad or jarring. But from a creative point of view, it was like, wow, I love it. I really like it. The problem is that this is not what I've asked you for. So you can see where the issue can come from. Normal. Wait. Sorry, I almost used your wrong name. I'm here going back to make sure that I'm saying it. Justine. I love Brené Brown approach on vulnerability. I haven't read anything from Brené Brown, but since now it's here, I'll have to. Now you have mentioned her, so we'll have to read her. And again, thank you very much for the likes. Thank you very much for the shares and everything. They say the questions are: mental health is a very broad field. How did you narrow your focus to public mental health, particularly when you're writing psychological fantasy? Okay, so why psychological fantasy within the... Why am I doing this? Why am I writing psychological fantasy? I like psychology. I like how the brain works. I like how I'm trying to understand how people are, why they are the way they are, why they do the things they do. And writing has given me the chance to live those people's lives without needing to be them per se. I didn't need to try to understand them, but I could build a life for them. And the moment I started trying to switch the points of view, I realized that people are not just evil. People are not just bad. People are not just this or that. That many of the ideas I had about reality were fed to me by the media. Many of my beliefs weren't mine. So many things that I was saying, I was echoing what I heard on TV, what I saw in movies, what came from different other sections that had nothing to do with me, and they were planting seeds in my mind. And I thought, if this could be done to me, is it something I can do to others, but in a positive way? In what ways can I leverage my ability to improve other people's lives? And psychological fantasy just fits right there. And I thought I was writing romance. I thought that I was a romance writer because I really enjoy romance, and all my stories have this romantic subplot or undertone. But that's just it. Romance in my stories are just the backstory. They help tell the relationship between the characters. It's not the main element. That's why I don't say that I'm a romance writer anymore. Thank you. Justine says, yeah, I truly recommend Brené Brown. You can watch a TED Talk on YouTube. Perfect. I will. I really love your view. Thank you very much. And so that's why I write psychological fantasy. But within psychological fantasy, I realized that I'm also writing from the point of view of a man. So my view is kind of skewed. And my books and my stories are full of female characters because my life is full of women. So I have female characters in positions of power and female characters in positions of having power used on them. I have my male characters being forces of good and also being forces of oppression. So there's no way of saying, oh, this one is bad and this one is good, but the interaction they have together sometimes produce friction. And it's not saying that friction is bad, it's saying that friction is a natural result of humans interacting. And that's what I want to showcase in this story. Not like everyone is going to have a safe space and everything is going to be great for everyone, but by learning to be a little bit uncomfortable and what are the things that makes us uncomfortable, we'll be able to understand if a situation is for us or not. If it's been us that we are being close to it, or is it really the environment that's being bad towards us? So that's one of the things that drove me into writing this. But I also like irony. I'm very sarcastic, and in many circles it's not a good thing. In other circles they love it, but I've realized that it's something I like. It's something I like being. And when I have to soften those rough edges, I feel like I lose a little bit of myself within it. And it's not in a bad way that, oh, I have to be sarcastic to everyone. It's not. It's just that it adds some spice to the way I express myself. And when I don't have that, I feel very diluted. I don't know where to hang on to my next expression or sentence. Oh my God, I really love to talk to you in person. Your observations are so on point. Justine, well, now we're friends we're at least we're friends here right now. So feel free to DM me, and if you send me your email, I'll share you what I write, and we'll connect. So feel free to contact me, and you'll see. Actually, you'll see if I'm someone you'd like to keep talking to, because I overtalk. So if I'm going to say something wrong, you'll hear it. Because if I'm overspoken. Mhm. So next question. Exactly, that's where I was going with it, with my sarcasm and dark humor. I don't take many things seriously. So many times I have conversations, and they how do I say this? People say things, and I respond in a way that they didn't expect. And it's not that for example, this is an example. Once, if you ever come to Warsaw, Poland, you are so welcome in my home. If you open your home to me, I'll come visit, because I love traveling. So I'll be able to write about Poland and Warsaw and Justine. Damn, you are making it sound really good. I'm telling you, that sounds really good. So I would love to. I would love to. Once I grew up in Spain, and we had this Expo Tourism. It's an exposition about tourism, and there were drinks about the world, and the part of Poland had the drink. I think it was called I'm not sure, but it had syrup on the bottom, then vodka. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Well, whatever. I just said it. And then a drop of Tabasco, and the Tabasco made like a bird, and it made like an eagle or something like that, and that was like the national drink or the national shot, and it was really good. I liked it. Very sweet, very easy to finish. So from that moment I was sold. So now that I'm talking to you, 1,000 times more. So thank you very much. Can you share a pivotal moment in your career that solidified your decision to pursue mental health education through creative storytelling? Yes. Let me think. Let me do this first. Give me a second. I'm almost there. So something in my career that made me want to pursue writing was writing my final paper for Harvard, because in 2021, after graduating public health, I got the chance to participate in a program in Harvard to go study in data. And they realized that I really like writing. I really like. Oh, nice to have you back. I really like writing. I really like. Um, how do I say this? Yeah, I like creating scenarios. I like connecting, seeing what's the story with the events happening. So, for example, one of my final papers was about something in the system of health in which that I know that is producing certain outcomes. So I chose infant mortality and race because those are the things that interest me. As I say, my life is full of women, so women are very big interest, and health is another big interest. So kids, I was a kid. That's the closest thing I can be. So I was talking about infant mortality and race because as a black person is something that interests me. So I connected all that and I created an entire narrative with what's going on in the hospital and ways in which these things could improve or how they're going in one direction or another. And I really liked it. And I got really good grade, and that bumped up my grade in that class because since we were not graded over the other papers, at least this one, since it was the last one, went bam, and it was really nice. It felt so good, so validating that the way I see things and the way I reason makes sense. And not just to me because I knew it made sense to me, but also to someone in such a place that I had such a high view of, like Harvard University. You see, I'm just throwing names because I'm that cool. I didn't graduate there. I just went for J-term. It's a month of intensive of an intensive class. Well, I took 3, and the other class I took was in loneliness. And one of the things we were talking about was the loneliness epidemic in men. And because we were 2 and 2, so where on our side we talked about I investigated more about loneliness in not only in men because of the part that touches me, but in teens because I was a public mental health expert. I was working creating projects for the community in the town I live in. So that's by writing papers about and talking to people about the things that are happening. You have to bring up the narrative. What are the numbers saying? Because as humans, numbers say nothing to us. Numbers have no meaning. But the moment you put the numbers together, they say something. They're telling us that in the community we have resources that are not being well used because they're being taken or being used in certain things, but we're seeing the need for them in these other things. So those we're seeing, for example, the need for mental health resources for youth and how they improve after that. But we also see how instead of using those resources for mental health, they are used to police those same teens that will commit crime in the future instead of solving the problem now that it's here. So these things made me realize I'm good at telling stories. I'm good at finding the story behind the data. So it just fell in place. My love for stories and storytelling made it fit. I try to write myself, but I'm struggling a lot. I'm so afraid of what others think about it. Me too. It happens to me too. But the thing is, it's not your diary. You are not writing your diary. If you want to journal, you can always journal. When you're writing your book, these are different characters. You are writing what's going on through them. So that allows you to, if it's more helpful, you can always take a journal, write for 10 minutes before you write, so you can dump all your feelings that you have about yourself, and then take your book or your story and write it from the point of view of those characters. And if those characters have things that have happened in your life, use that as fuel. Take those feelings, those things take those things that have happened to you and take them to the most extreme. Push them to even farther. Make them crazier, because that's what stories are. I really deep into neurodiversity, and loneliness is a part of it. Yes, because first of all, if you're normotypical, you're already typical, so you're part of the majority. Being neurodivergent or neurodiverse, and or just simply not conforming, you'll find yourself lonely. You'll find yourself alone, because from something inside you, you already don't want to be like what's around you. So that's lonely. And or you find a way to connect with the people that are around you, or you find a way to re-understand loneliness, I guess. But loneliness is a feeling. Loneliness is like hunger, is like thirst. It's telling you, I need connection. I'm longing for connection. That's what loneliness says. My professor, I had two professors, great people, Jeremy and Jessica, great. I'll have their page somewhere here. And the other ones that really got me talking about loneliness. Do you know about the concept of Ubuntu? I think I've heard about it. It's you are because I am because you are, or something like that. But please confirm it, because I would like to be able to say it properly, because I really like it. And yes, we are all connected. We are all connected, exactly. And that's something we see within my own stories. My stories are all centered in character. That doesn't mean that all stories should be like that, but mine are, because that's how I like it. That's how I know how to write. I said, make your style your skill. Improve your skill. Don't worry about your style. Your style will improve as your skill does, and you'll find your niche. So what I'm doing is improving my skill. And I'll write better that stories in which the main characters connect with each other. Where are we? Can you share a pivotal moment in your career that solidified your decision to pursue mental health education through creative? Okay. How do you see the intersection of storytelling and mental health? Okay. This is about why do I think that storytelling is effective in how do I say this? Storytelling is effective in changing people's way of thinking, because we have seen it. We have seen how a good story is better than good data. We are living it. We're living it right now. We're living through it right now, at least here in the US. How a fun story, having a charismatic main character, overcomes anything else. Good storytelling can overcome bad data. Storytelling is effective in design thinking. I use it a lot in marketing. Yes, marketing is storytelling. You have to tell a story with the product. What is it good for? Who is it going to help? Why should they buy it? And they should feel like they need it. But at the end, people get things not that they need, but that they feel they need. You can be hungry, but Sometimes you might buy that. I don't know why. If you like shoes, maybe you'll buy those new sneakers. You know that, okay, next month I'll have to hold on my extra allowance, but these shoes, I like them too much, so I need them. We prioritize the needs we create. So by writing this, we can create the need for connection by showing how good connection is, and vulnerability is in improving people's lives. By connecting with others and lowering our guard and letting others lower their guard, our cortisol levels drastically drop. Our fight, flight, freeze mode relaxes, and we all of a sudden, bam, we calm down, and everything feels less frightening, and everyone around us feels less frightening, and life can be enjoyed much better. So stories like this, in which connection are more important, but connection cannot be said just out loud like, oh, connection is important. That's so annoying to have someone preaching at you this, something that's fantasy, that you can just enjoy it and watch it, and be able to let your mind rest from it. That's what we need. That's awesome. I don't know if you have, I cannot see if you have, I cannot see if you have, um what's this called, uh, uh what's this called, sorry. I don't know if you have more videos, or if you post or anything, but I would love to uh hear you too. So if you want to join at some point, I would love that as well. If you want to come up and talk a little bit. What else? On my content and creative approach, focus. Also, I also talk. Oh, you can't join. Well, then maybe next time, maybe in another moment. Um, why do I write romance? Why do my stories have a romantic subplot? I love romance. I just like romance. I like romantic stories. I like when characters have the chance to fall in love. I like when I'm reading a story and I'm like, oh my goodness, you're doing things to fall in love. And it's not overly told. I love it. I love when the characters are holding it and don't want to say it, but they cannot but do it. I love that. So, because I like all those things, I want my characters to be transformed by that. I want people to be able to get into relationships that they find that they find someone with whom they can be vulnerable, and someone that understands that healing sometimes is ugly, healing sometimes hurts, and we go back to old behaviors, and it's not, we should learn what's too much and what's when to stop, but we all have different levels. And when two people are growing together and they are healing together, I think it's worth the pain that you can find within it, because life is not all beautiful. You don't wake up every day feeling awesome, but that doesn't mean that your life is less awesome just because some days are bad. So some days will be bad, some days it will rain. It needs to rain for trees to grow, and you still cannot, and you'll feel like, damn, now going on around is, we need that. So we'll find those things within relationships, and those are things I want to showcase, how while going through these mental processes, our relationships will affect them. Because when we're by ourselves, whatever, no, it's just us. But when we're connecting with another person, now it's not just my single issue, but how does my issue and your issue get together? Can we make it work? Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. but it has to be a choice. It has to be a conscient and real choice. Mm, your online persona is both inspirational and slightly enigmatic. What's the strategy behind creating a space where followers can engage with your stories rather than directly with you? Well, that's something I would like. I'd like people, thank you very much, first of all. I would like people to engage with these stories more than they engage with me per se, because I'm just a human. I'm me, my life. Hey, thank you. And um, Justine, thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for being here all the time that you have and commenting and telling me about you and for the invitation. I'll see you in Poland, okay? I don't know when, but I'll see you in Poland. Enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you, I don't know what time is it, I haven't even asked, but I hope you're enjoying the rest of your day. Yes, that would be awesome. Um, so I would like people to engage with the characters of the stories in a way that I don't have answers for people. I cannot tell you what to do in your life because if I tell you what I want to tell you, you won't. I don't even like myself when I tell me what I need to tell myself. So I don't want to put you in that situation. So I know that sometimes things need to be. I'm not that nice when I say things all the time. So my characters are these characters are me. I might give you a bad answer, but these characters no, unless the other one you ask the wrong one. No, that's a way of seeing it. Hey, Michael, how do you use your sense of humor to tackle topics that might otherwise feel heavy or difficult to discuss? I pile them with something ridiculous, something absurd. I think that a dark humor should be based on something you have gone through, something that has to do with you. If the humor is about someone outside, someone else, is not dark humor, it's just an insult. So that's the that's my point of view in terms of dark humor. So I used to think that I used to think that I wanted to be edgy. I wanted to be this edgy type of comedian, a little bit here and there that could say you never knew what one thing he could say. I wanted to do that. And then I realized that I don't. I don't want to do that. That's not me. That's not what I do. That's not who I am. I want I like the fact that when you say something wild, people pay attention in like it's something people remember. But I feel I was going wrong about it. When I was doing it in the past, I was going all wrong about it. And now I feel like I understand who I am and what I'm doing and that makes it the much more personal. Now I'm willing to give you me. Before I was scared of giving you me. Now I'm willing to give you me. And and I'm willing to take that rejection because I think it's necessary. We have seen how the lack of vulnerability has made people very defensive. So maybe I should start. Preach by example, as they say. In your psychological fantasy writing, what themes do you find yourself revisiting? and why do you think they resonate so deeply with your audience? One of the themes I keep going back to is there are 7 feelings because of the seven expressions of Ilan. That's my thing. That's what I talk about. That's my um at the end, my spiritual belief and my physical exercise is related to that. So I the topics I talk about is safety, fear, because of Sharia. I talk about sexuality and creativity because of Jinsia. I talk about a gut feeling and instinct because of Nur Gizani. I talk about rhythms and patterns and feeling, what's this called? Uh, bounded. What's that called? Not bounded. Chained to your past. Shame, those type of things. Lack of those. Oh, let me go back from the beginning. Themes that I can themes I talk about in my stories are fear because of the 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 juxtaposition between fear and safety from Sharia. Because when you follow the natural laws and you know what you're doing and why you're doing it, it's easier to just do and be. So I talk about fear because of Sharia. We talk about I talk about um, sexuality and creativity because of jinsia, and shame because of that, and how you can feel ashamed of showing your art, how you can feel ashamed of being seen, because you are or you feel different than others. That's jinsia. So we talk about that. Just passing through. Hey Moses, nice to see you. Hey, always the love, always the love. Then we talk about Nurugizani. Nurugizani is self assurance. Self assurance, to know that you might be right or wrong, but trust in yourself. It's not, even if you are not confident, trust yourself. Because if you do the work, you'll trust yourself. You should trust yourself if you do the work. So do it, and by learning by following your instincts, you will know if you're right or wrong. If you follow someone else, you will always question yourself. But if you follow what your instincts tell you, it will be easy. So that's Nurugizani. That's something that we talk about too. The next one, Mdundo, we talk about being tied to your past, being unable to move on, holding on to old ideas, holding on to old relationships, holding on to old people, holding on to old concepts of self. That's when you have a tie on your mdundo, when your rhythm is wrong, when you're following wrong patterns. We'll talk a lot about that. We'll talk about tikisika. Tikisika is speaking your truth. How do you vibe your truth? We'll talk about vibration. We'll talk about energy. We'll talk about ilar. We'll talk about ilar expressions. We'll talk about masking, embodiment. We'll talk about all these things, because everything has to do with the way we express our truth. Find the way to express your truth. And sometimes expressing your truth means exploring what that truth is. Sometimes you need to know what you are not to be able to discover what you are. So that's tikisika. Be wrong. Don't be scared of being wrong. Sometimes the more wrong you are, the more you learn how to be wrong. You can be wrong many times. The better you are at getting at being wrong, the less wrong you are, and the more effort you'll have to do to be wrong. So express yourself. Learn what you are so you can learn what you are not. And when someone else will tell you this is what you are, you'll be able to say, that's not me, because I've already tried that, or I've already been that, or they have already pointed at me at that, and I already know that's not me. It's not me because it doesn't vibe with me, because it doesn't resonate with me, because it doesn't feel right. Why does it not feel right? Because we started listening to Nuru Gizani, started listening to our gut feeling. Then, kutafakari. Are we reflecting the world, or are we letting the world reflect on us? It's awesome when we can see ourselves in everyone else. That's beautiful. But we also have to be able to export who we are to others. If what we were 30 people more around us, would we like that? Not in the things they did, but the way they treat us, the way we're making them feel, the way we are making the world feel. Would we like that? Do we like that? That's a mirror. What do we hate about the world? That's a mirror. What do we like about the world? That's a mirror. Whatever we like or whatever we dislike, it's within us. And by looking at these things, we learn what we are. You are going to find that in my writing, because that's what I write about, the Ilar expressions, the Engia. Engia is path. To find your path, you need to understand your expressions. The better you understand them, the easier it is to go through life. So after you kutafakari, and we have talked about, we'll talk about saying your truth, and with kutafakari, reflecting your truth. How to reflect your truth. Once someone shows you what they are, how do you reflect what you are? Instead of keeping it to yourself or just throwing it, now you have already learned how to throw it. Now you're learning how to receive it. When someone else's Ilar comes to you, someone else's energy comes to you, bam, bam, to the other side. It's like playing tennis. That's something we'll be talking about. That's something you'll find in all my books. And if not all my books, in most of my stories. And if not most of my stories, you'll find it somewhere, because it drives my entire life. These concepts, the Ilar expressions, drive my life. So there's no way I won't talk about them. And the last one, Akili. Akili, we'll talk about it all the time. Maybe not with that name, but we'll talk about it all the time, because that's the way you see the world. What are you framing? What are you seeing when you see the world? What are you looking at? What are you trying to find? What are you checking for? What are you training your mind to recognize? That's Akili. Because whatever you train your mind to recognize, that's what is going to bring you. That's what's going to drive. Those are the things you're going to find in my books. And also relationships, because they all maintain a relationship with each other. The way your emotions change from fear to confidence, there's a relationship between those emotions. There's something that connects them. And that's something we explore in my stories. In your psychological fantasy writing, what themes you find yourself revisiting, and do you think they resonate so deeply with your audience? How do you balance the educational aspect of your content with the entertainment value of storytelling? Is there ever tension between the two? How do you balance the educational aspect? The educational aspect is present in every second of the stories. everything is educational. Or you learn for good or you learn for bad. They're going through things and they're doing things. My writing might be good, might be bad, but it's always improving. So the lessons will be better explained in the future, or they will be better delivered. I don't know how I balance it, because I'm not balancing it per se. But I hope that if you stick around, we can find a good balance. We're almost done, almost done. That's it. Oh no. Can you share some of the other? Yeah, I think this is it. PB&J! I don't know if it's you, but hello, hello. We're done basically. Oh no, we have 10 more minutes. It's you! Hello! We have 10 more minutes. And I've been talking very fast. So I'm also learning that me being on live session doesn't mean that I have to speak in a hurry. But it's very hard not to be in a hurry when I'm looking at myself speak. Because since I have ADHD, every time I talk slowly, I hear myself speak. And I'm like, speed up, come on, speed up. So, oh, wait, that was unintended. So that's the thing going on. Next, lastly, no. Oh, what's my background? Let me tell you a little bit about my background. That way it's also here and I can remember uploading a little bit about it later. I was born in Kenya, grew up in Spain, and now I'm here. I've been working and studying and doing things until now. I've talked about my degrees. I've talked about so many stuff. I don't even know what to tell you now about. So I'll just tell you about the story we're writing together. I forgot we had a story writing together. Oh my goodness. I completely forgot about that. So let me tell you about it. It's a story about a succubus that's going to propose to a werewolf, but he doesn't know that she's a werewolf, and she doesn't know that she knows he's a succubus, but she's waiting for him to tell her because she doesn't want to be intruding. She has been told before that she's very intruding, so she's not trying to be intruding because she can smell it, because she's a werewolf. She has a really good she's really good at finding clues. You see the wordplay and stuff. So he doesn't want to. He's like ashamed of telling her that. Oh, maybe that would be it, and we simplify it. We don't need the entire thing about the starfish. Oh no, but the succubus is not. That's not the issue. But the issue is what he likes. But he has a secret. He has a secret to tell her. Okay, they know. Oh, I don't know if they know. It's not about that. So this story is kind of held like this, very loosely. And I like stories that are, but I don't need that for this one, so it's fine. So that's what's going on. and he wants his pendant taken out because he wants to propose, and every time he wants to do it, it hurts. And now it's time for him to do it. So he's going to do that. Wow, I'm so out of it right now. I'm done. Tired of talking. I shouldn't have gone live this morning. So I'll come back next week. I'll see you Wednesday. I'll see you Wednesday at this time. Bye bye. See you. It's nice to be able to do this like this. And I stop streaming.